Hello there, welcome to another episode of the Allotment Dram. This is a series of short videos where we sit and talk about different whiskies in the surroundings of our North London allotment. You join me here on an absolutely lovely autumnal afternoon, mid-October, and bright sunshine, quite warm, blue skies, absolutely lovely, nice and peaceful as well. Got on with some quite unglamorous jobs, we're talking like shoveling up barrow loads of manure and digging over beds for preparation for winter time, but perfectly warm enough to have the t-shirt on. Picked a couple of things as well. I know some people like to see things that we've picked. So the last of the apples off our tree there, so it's been going great guns. We've had a lot of them this year off that tree. Literally bought it as a stick like 5 or 6 years ago for £5 in the sale at the garden centre, and now it's like a proper apple tree. So also some beans. So we've got the green beans here, which are lovely, just like fresh or cooked very lightly, and also some of these Ballotti beans, which you don't really eat sort of raw as they are, but you put them into like winter stews and stuff like that, just the beans inside. But while that's all very interesting, I'm sure you tune in to hear sort of about the weather in North London or what I've been picking. Of course you tuned in to see what today's allotment dram is, and it's a very exciting one because it's literally a brand new product. It's been launched about 10 days ago, and it is the Glenmorangie Tale of the Forest. So this, for those of you that have watched for some time, is a follow-on from the Tale of Cake, and also a Tale of Winter, which was last year's. So this is the third one in the series, and all of them have basically been brought to life by Dr. Bill Lumsden, who's the director of whisky creation at Glenmorangie, and he uses things that have influenced him to create these whiskies. So in the Tale of Cake, it was like if I remember rightly, a pineapple upside down cake that his grandma made. Tale of Winter was a big sort of jumper, almost like a Christmas jumper that he used to wear. And this one, Tale of the Forest, is about a sort of walk through his local woodlands, near to his house. So it's sort of trying to evoke the sights, sounds and smells of this sort of walk through the woodlands. And what they've actually done is really quite interesting, because they've kilned the barley. So you've got the malted barley, they've then kilned it with woodland botanicals. So what does that mean? I mean, that's essentially a traditional practice that happened across Scotland, and you would basically have peat, as most people would have back in the day, but to the peat, when you're burning it, you're adding, in this case, things that you find in the woodland. So in this case it's juniper, pine, heather, and also the bark off the birch tree. So of course this is going to come up through the smoke. So you're not just going to have the phenol from the peat, you're going to have different sort of elements coming from the different, the heather burning, the pine, the juniper, the birch. So it's going to be very interesting. As you see, I haven't opened it, so I actually don't know what it's like. Never tasted it, so I'm going to do it for you now. And also you'll notice just on the packaging, sort of around, there's some lovely illustrations. You can actually see it on a bit more on the box here. A lovely set of illustrations here. Absolutely stunning box that this came with. So this was designed by an illustrator called Pom Chan, and just really, it's elevated from the two previous releases. I mean, the artwork and the packaging was good for those, but this is really different level. And what else before we taste it? Well, it's 46%. It's going to be around £75, and as with the other two in the series, the Tale series, it's a limited edition, although they don't actually say how many there are in total. So if you like the sound of it, as with the other two, I'll grab it while you can. It's currently exclusive to Selfridges in London, the big famous department store. So you can either go in there, or if you're in London, or order off their website. Then it goes out to the wider UK sort of in another week or so, and then out to Europe and the rest of the world sort of after that. So I think without further ado, you know, I've been chatting for 5 minutes. Sounds so interesting. I've been dying to open this bottle and try it, and I think we should do it. So let's see what we find. So ooh, that's good sound. This is very interesting going on here. Lovely golden, like really bright, vibrant sort of colour to it, you know. So almost the casking's not quite so important here. It's predominantly bourbon casks, I believe, but wow, it's certainly really not like any Glenmorangie that I've sort of sampled for a long time. There's a bit of earthiness, but there is a distinct, quite sort of resinous, sort of piney, heathery quality. There's a bit of heather honey in there as well. A bit of cereal. There's a bit of like biscuity sort of cereal underneath. Yeah, really quite enticing and really interesting. See, when I read about woodland botanicals, it's like, what the hell is that? What the hell is that? But when you see botanicals, you naturally think of gin, but it doesn't really have that, because it's a sort of woodiness. It's not the juniper berries. Yeah, anyway, I think we need to taste. It's been enticing me for too long now. Cheers. Wow, that's really luscious. Lots of heather honey, golden syrup. There's this floral nature. It's heathery quality. Very delicate sort of floral style. Bit of like peach, apricot, vanilla custard there, but it's really this sort of smoky, earthy element that is leaping out on the palate. It has a sort of soft, gentle peatiness, like quite sweet peat, you know. So I'm sure they would have taken it from the peat. When they do their peated whiskies at Glenmorangie, they normally take it from around the area, sort of up in the North Highlands there. That tends to have this slightly gentler, softer, sweeter style than, say, Islay whiskies on the sort of west coast, or west coast of Scotland, or the Hebrides. So it has that, but of course on top of this you've got this sort of layers of other flavours. So there's a slight woodiness, there's this sort of resinous, piney quality. Really intriguing actually. And at 46% it sits really nicely. It's not too strong, and it's just making all those flavours pop a little bit more. In fact, I'm going to have another taste. That's really growing on me as well, actually. I mean, I liked it at the beginning, but now you've got this sort of creamy, soft, luscious feel with those sort of peachy, apricot-y type fruits, bit of golden syrup, the heather honey, but it's this earthy smokiness kind of wraps around. It's kind of like wisping around sort of all these other elements, this biscuity, malty quality, all those things that I said before. The smoke is just wisping around. Very, very interesting. And, you know, not really like a whiskey that or a Scotch whiskey that I've tried, because of these other elements. I mean, there's one or two others, sort of New World whiskies, you know, particularly from Scandinavia. I mean, Mackmyra, for example, or Stauning in Denmark, Mackmyra in Sweden. Mackmyra use juniper twigs with the peat, their local peat, and Stauning use heather. They burn heather, so it creates this different style of peat, of smoke. But yeah, this is wonderful. Really glad we grabbed a bottle, and yeah, I hope you like the sound of it, because yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. So I think we'll probably leave it at that. From myself and Glenmorangie, Tale of the Forest, we will leave you to get on with whatever you were doing before you happened to stumble across this video, and we hope to see you for another allotment dram very soon. Thanks for watching, and cheers!